Welcome to the Welsh Yogi Podcast. Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine.
Hello everyone and welcome to the you can Google it. Welcome to the Welsh Yogi Podcast. My name is Ben. We're here with amazing Gopal and wonderful Charlie, who's on the computer. And we're doing
Charlie.
Hey Charlie. We're doing another fantastic episode with the Sri Upanishad. So if you caught the last episode, you'll have found out about how to switch hate into love by connecting everything to the source of all creation. If you want a Sri Upanishad, this is a real ecstatic book. That's how I would describe it. It's got like a spiritual aura when you have it in your hand, and we'll send you one of these very special books, free of charge, or yeah.
If it's the Welsh Yogi Podcast, we can send you one free.
If you're a listener, unless you're overseas. If you're overseas, then unlucky. We actually have got American listeners now. Did you hear that, Gopal?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. There's I don't know, Charlie. One of Charlie's. What's his name?
His name's
Harley. Shout out to Harley. No, but yeah, we're now an international podcast.
I used to love America.
You did.
I grew up absolutely loved America.
It is
I used to love The Simpsons.
Yeah.
WWE wrestling. Just everything I loved was all American sort of thing. But then I went to Florida, Orlando, Florida, and it was first time it was probably the best holiday I had when I was young.
Yeah.
Went to all the theme parks and stuff. But I was really surprised just how fat everyone was.
Yeah.
Like it was insane. Like everyone was on like these little mobile scooters, and everyone was fat. Like, and no one walked. They were all in these little fat scooters, and they would when they'd go into the supermarket, like you couldn't buy healthy food and you couldn't buy small packets of crisps or anything.
No.
Everything's large, everything's massive, everything's burgers and chips and Coke and stuff.
It's like the capital of sense gratification, isn't it? Like the America. Like in
Yeah.
terms of if you wanna make your senses feel temporarily happy, then America's your place. Like that's what I noticed. Like the best fast food, like all of it.
You know, someone was saying in history, they say if you study history, one thing you learn from studying history is that no one learns from history. And every sort of society that has grown up, every like empire that has come up and toppled time and time again over history, they've all been destroyed by almost the same thing, which is its own gluttony.
So that Roman Empire. Were you telling that story? Like in the Roman Empire, like they'd have big feasts, and then there'd be like a special place where you go to throw it all up.
Yeah, you tickle the back of your throat, throw it all up, and then go eat it again.
And go and have another meal.
It's
kind of ridiculous. So should we jump into this?
Yeah, let's talk about something spiritual.
Look at that, like it's a pretty special book.
Yeah.
The artwork on this book is, I like a bit of art, and this is like, Charlie. What's that mean? Should we go for it?
Yeah.
Mantra 8. So if you want to catch up on Mantra 7, we were talking about that last week. You can find that in all of the usual places, Spotify.
What are the planets like today, Charlie? Astrologically.
He's not tuned
You're
in.
not tuned in.
I think there's some, what are you saying?
There's something in the air at the minute.
Is it?
Astrologically, I think. I can feel it.
Well,
is
yesterday
it
was the moon with a slither. It's not a full moon, it's the opposite. Because last night I looked at the moon, it was a complete slither. It was just like a tiny.
It's a dark moon.
Dark moon night.
What does that mean? I don't know if anyone can hear Charlie at the minute, but he's an astrologer pretty
expert. Like he's always looking.
If you want to know anything about crystals or dream catchers or any Reiki,
yeah.
auras, angels.
I'm the angel expert.
Yeah, Ben's the angel expert.
But Charlie is good at New Age, a pseudo spirituality.
He's our New Age expert. He's our New Age. Anyway, should we get into some?
Yeah, Mantra 8. Wonderful bit of Sanskrit. All of the mantras in this fantastic book are written in Sanskrit, which is it's one of the most.
She's a language, isn't it?
It's like it's just it's beautiful. No, it is nice. Like,
So written in like
words.
Sanskrit, which is it's a type of language from India. Go on.
I love it when words fail me. Do you like that? When you want to say something but you haven't got the words to say it.
Do you want to read the Sanskrit then?
I gotta read this now.
Yeah, just shut up and just read it. Just read the list.
I can't now. It's a lot of pressure.
You meant to be a yogi.
I'm in a hot seat now.
Look, I'll do it. Saprayaga chukram akayam avranam asnavirang shudham apapavidham karve manisi prabhuthvayambur yatadayadoratam vyatatak cha svatibayaha samabayaha. So the translation of this is interesting. So saha prayagat, which means that person must know in fact. So it's that from the previous verse,
Yeah, Mantra 7.
the
last-
person who sees everything equally, right? Like we talked
Mm.
about last time. We talked about equal vision.
Yeah.
Needs to be seen on the spiritual platform, not the material platform.
Mm.
So in order to see things on this spiritual platform, saha prayagat, that person must know in fact, shukram, the omnipotent, akayam, unembodied. So now they're starting to describe the source of all.
Yeah.
So if you want to know everything, if you want to have true love for all living beings and see things truly equally, then we have to know what the source of all creation is, right? And now he's listing this Ishopanishad is listing these qualities of that supreme, the absolute truth, right?
Yeah.
The supreme personality. So it's unembodied, omniscient, beyond reproach, without veins, which is an interesting one.
Mm.
I mean, I think in the purport it's described that without veins, because it means the source of everything material and spiritual, or Krishna, has a completely sort of spiritual.
Mm.
When I say sort, it's Satya Ananda. Krishna's body is made up of eternity, knowledge, and bliss, condensed sort of thing, right? Like pure bliss.
Not matter. There's a bit of the purport I could read if you want.
Yeah, go on.
It says, he has his own transcendental form, which is not at all similar to the forms in the mundane world. The forms of living entities in this world are embodied by material nature, and they work like a material machine. I like that. Like any material machine. So it is like that, isn't it? Our body is...
Yeah, it needs to be oiled and watered,
Yeah.
and
When it runs out, you have to go and get it fixed when it breaks and stuff.
yeah. You know, I got an X-ray on Tuesday for my ankle.
Mm.
Twisted my ankle, and it is like that. You know, I don't know if did I mention this last time. I'm thinking like I was quite amazed how I'm going off topic now.
We are tangenting.
But no, it's on the same point. It's
machine,
it's a
yeah.
mechanical machine. So, you know, I badly hurt my ankle. I was just told to rest. The doctor says just rest.
Mm.
So what happens when I'm resting is that all this stuff is going on. Like it starts bruising, swelling, but my body is just repairing itself. Like it causes pain when I stepped on it in order to protect. You know, that's like some mechanism my body's doing, because me as a conscious being has no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
So my body needs to send signals to me saying, look, don't step on this now,
Yeah.
because you'll just damage it even more. And it just repairs itself. I'm not conscious of that. You know what I mean? I am not willingly fixing my foot.
No.
It's just happening because I'm in this machine which is designed for, to a certain degree, self-repair.
Yeah. It's
Sort of
such an advanced machine. Like,
Yeah.
if you could invent a machine that repairs itself.
Yeah.
Because think, all you're putting in it is a bit of food, and it could be any kind of food, and it can convert that food into some medicine, like some sort of fixing agent for that machine. Like, it's just, as far as machines go, these bodies are like pretty
Yeah.
advanced, but at the same time they're kind of fragile and
Yeah, like with any machine, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's got was it built-in obsolescence?
planned obsolescence.
Yeah.
Yeah, like an iPhone. They design an iPhone, so then the next iPhone, as
Yeah.
soon as that comes out, the old one gets worse.
So you got to buy a new one.
Yeah,
It's the same thing with the body, isn't it?
yeah, it's degrading
Yeah.
moment by moment.
Changing moment by moment. Another, I don't know if I'm going off on tangents now, but I had to buy a suit for my brother's wedding.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
And 'cause my brother's getting married in early April to Maria. She's a really nice girl.
Mm.
And it was a difficult time for me buying this suit because you have to choose like what type of suit you want. So I'm finding it difficult now to get a suit that fits me because I'm in such a situation now where my belly goes in front of my chest. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm like,
You're like an American.
it's hard as quite a short sort of plump man. It's hard to find a suit sort of thing. So I'm seeing my body changing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not in the same body as I was a few years ago, sort of thing. And it's only going to get worse.
Jai. So yeah, the point I guess we're making is
Does that make sense, Charlie?
no, it makes sense. I do feel for you. I'm sorry that your body's changing.
Yeah.
Sorry if I wasn't very empathetic then, but I just thought I'd steer it back onto the road of the book. Is that all right?
Yeah. Well, we're talking about a body being a machine.
Yeah, no, I know. I love what you said, and it was valuable and it was great. And yeah, it's worth considering that the body's always changing.
Fun.
So basically, what we're saying here is that the Supreme Lord.
Do you want to cut that bit out?
No,
Yeah.
I like it. I personally look, Gobel. I'm sorry. I really liked.
Okay.
I
Go
really
on. No,
like-
go on. Carry on.
I really liked what you said there. It was very valuable, and added a lot to the podcast. So, the anatomy of the body, the material body, must have a mechanical construction with veins and so forth. But the transcendental body of the Supreme Lord has nothing like veins.
Hmm.
It is clearly stated here that he is unembodied, which means that there is no difference between his body and his soul. Because I was thinking, this is a point that when I was reading this mantra, when you read the word unembodied, you immediately think, okay, so the Supreme Lord, he doesn't have a body, so he must just be like some bodiless spiritual energy that's all pervading. So like, I like that Prabhupada in this purport, it's cleared up saying that unembodied doesn't mean he doesn't have a body. It just means that he's not embodied, like trapped within a body.
Yeah.
Like, because
No material body.
we discussed that last week as well, how the soul is encaged within the body. Like the body, like we just said, is a temporary, slowly plumping machine.
What do you mean?
Just using
What are
your
you
word.
trying to say?
No, I like the word plump. Anyway,
I'm not plump.
no, I'm not. You do. I'm just quoting you.
I know. Cuddly.
Cuddly. Yeah. Anyway. So yeah,
Should you
the
start this again?
no, definitely not. I think it's fine. What do you reckon, Charlie? It's banter.
Right.
Sorry for all my offences. It's clearly said here he's unembodied.
Go on, I'm listening.
I feel under pressure now.
Go on, I bet everyone who's listening to this podcast on the edge of their seats.
He's throwing it back now.
You know what I mean?
It's gonna be one of them, is it? Okay, so
Please tell me more.
the Lord is not forced to accept the body according to the laws of nature as we are. In material conditioned life, the soul is different from the gross embodiment and the subtle mind. For the Supreme Lord, however, there is never such a difference between himself and his body and his mind. He is the complete whole. His mind, body, and he himself are all one and the same. So that's just the paragraph I wanted to read out,
Nice.
because that really does clear up the first section. But I don't think we've even finished the mantra yet, have we?
No, but I thought a good way to go through this is by little bit, step by step.
Break it down.
So I know we've said the Sanskrit. So it's saying, unembodied, omniscient, beyond reproach, without veins, as you read.
Yeah.
Pure and uncontaminated. The self-sufficient philosopher who has been fulfilling everyone's desire since time immemorial. So in the purport, there's a few points that are highlighted here, and I think where it talks about the being pure. The Sanskrit words here are, let me just find them. Yep, so it's Shuddham, which means antiseptic.
Nice.
So, we go through life and we might have different, just naturally through common contact with negative energies and just the way this world is, we might, feel like we need, I don't know, you need to be cleansed,
Yeah.
sort of
like
thing.
Fixed or
You feel like you need
Yeah.
a bath,
yeah.
sort of thing, but more sort of spiritually. So, coming in contact with Krishna is Shuddham, antiseptic. So he cures all of these things, but he's not just Shuddham, but he's Apapam Vidham. And here in the word for the Sanskrit, it's used the word prophylactic,
Mm.
which we looked it up in the dictionary. It means like sort of protect against disease also.
Yeah.
So it's like if you can move around in this world, always aware of your connection to God, then it acts as like a coating or a sort of like a suit of armor
Mm.
that can protect you also from the negative energies in this world.
No, that's awesome.
That was
And yeah, like antiseptic. So, because I've heard in a lot of these books it says that we're in like a diseased condition. Like having a body is like a bit like a disease, isn't it? Like it's not
Sick.
natural for us. Because we just read the Lord's form, Krishna's form, is Satchit Ananda, eternal, full of knowledge and full of bliss. And we too have a form like that. But we've temporarily taken this body, this material body, to kind of try and enjoy ourselves separate from Krishna. But the word antiseptic is interesting because it's almost like it's helping clean that diseased condition. In other words, helping you detach from that bodily conception, that bodily identification. So then you can start to sort of elevate your perspective and start to act as a soul again, as a Satchit Ananda soul again. But like antiseptic, have you ever put an antiseptic wipe on a cut, like when you was younger, or
Yeah.
it kind of stings, right? And similarly, sometimes when you start to practice spiritual life, it can sting a little bit because a lot of the things that you are attached to are sort of also like not necessarily
Yeah.
good for you.
So in order to cure the disease, you might have to go through a bit of
Purification,
pain.
yeah. It's like
It's like that. And you get addicts who, like, if they're going cold turkey, for example, there's a period, sometimes quite a long period of intense sort of sickness and pain before you start to get better.
yeah.
Another example that Prabhupada gives in the purport is of the sun, saying that the sun, the sun rays purify water, even if the water is in the most dirty place, the sun will still extract the water, and the sun itself won't get contaminated. The sun remains pure, sort of thing. I thought that was another interesting example of a purifying agent that purifies without itself becoming contaminated in any way. It's like all purifying, and also the Sanskrit of apapam vidham, prophylactic, so preventative.
Yeah.
Apapa, because papa is like
even
reactions one gets.
Yeah.
Papa is like a reaction one gets, like bad karma,
Yeah.
sort of thing. So this is apapa vidham, so
So
it protects you from the bad karma that you might
yeah.
get in life, sort of thing. It's quite interesting.
Yeah, it stops you from, I guess it almost cleans you, and then it stops you from getting dirty as well. Like if you wanted to think about it like that.
Another thing as well is just the last point on this Sanskrit verse,
Yeah.
in mantra 8,
Mm-hmm.
is he's the self-sufficient philosopher, fulfilling everyone's desires since time immemorial. The Sanskrit is the last line, I think. Yatata yatata. Is it? Yatata yataha. Just in pursuance, artan, desirable. So arta means something that's desirable. Like we often say in yoga, or back to yoga, anarta nivritti, getting rid of the unwanted things. And there's also arta vritti, cultivating those things that you do want in life.
Yeah.
So it's the point that's made in the purport of Prabhupada is saying, like, according to one's, you can get a certain qualification in this world, but there's also a type of empowerment, or as we say, like a blessing that comes from the sort of the divine that empowers you to get certain things, like fulfill your desires in this world. And generally, if you keep praying for something, if you keep desiring something, if you keep going for it, you will get what you want eventually, whether it's this life or the next life.
Exactly.
But so the real, that's why the ancient wisdom literatures of India are there, because you got to know what to desire for. You know, you got to know what you want. It's a good point, really, like to educate ourselves to, okay, what do I really want out of life before I decide to go for it? And that's what we do in a lot of our like goal setting seminars and stuff, is to stay on balance and to really set goals for your life and really have a sort of a focused life. First, you have to peel everything back and really think about what do you deeply want to achieve, and then work from there, sort of thing.
Yeah, because it's hard to actually know even what you want, isn't it? Like
most people don't.
Yeah.
At least the people I've speaking for myself when I was younger, and most people I speak to, sort of thing. At least young people. And also what I've seen is a lot of people, they don't know what they want, and then they might have some dream of like, yeah, you know, what I really want is I want to be the lead singer of the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Do you know what I mean? But after some time, then that dream of being like a rock star or famous footballer or something, that starts to sort of fade away, and then you start to settle for more. And even in psychologists, they say, like, as you get older, you settle for lesser and lesser sort of, or more and more simple things in life. So as you go, I'm content with my house and my dog and my kids. And then as you get older and older, I'm just happy I can
breathe.
Still walk down the stairs on my own and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
So as time goes on, we get the bar lowers and lowers and lowers. So
it's almost like, you know, when you're a kid, you're like, you want the best, but then you realize that you don't have the sort of karma or the ability to get that. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, I want to be a footballer, but then at some point you realize, okay, I haven't got the right equipment. My machine isn't the right type of machine to be a footballer. So that desire can't.
Yeah, and
you don't have the credits.
Yeah. And also the point I was trying to make as well was, so it's also not it's not a desire that's based on reality.
Yeah. So
if you have a desire that's just based on whatever your mind concocts, then you go for a dream and you just going with the flow, and the standard lowers and lowers and lowers and lowers, because you haven't independently cultivated knowledge of the map of this world, how it works, what the soul is, and where you really want to go in life. So you're just left sort of going with the tide, and ultimately at the time of death, at least according to the first-hand experience of a lot of, you know, nurses that are there at the time of death, there's generally profound dissatisfaction and lamentation about the way people have lived in their lives, what they've achieved, and how they've wasted so much of it. That's a bit deep as well. That's a bit down.
No,
I always go really negative, you know.
I don't think it's negative. I just think it's reality.
And the point I'm trying to make is it's positive if you know what I mean? But it's saying, well, you know, you got to be deliberate about your life.
Yeah.
You know, like this is the point this is making, is that all desires can be fulfilled, but how much are you managing what you desire, and how much of it is just you're just not really thinking about it, and just whatever desires just come up. Do you know? And there's a huge advertisement industry based on implanting desires into you of things that you don't even need.
They're like seeds.
Yeah.
Right. We were talking about that yesterday a little bit, like in that class about seeds. So like if you
your class,
my class. No, if you when you desire something, it's like planting a seed in your heart, you know, or you could say it like that, and it fructifies over time, like. But you might not get it in this. That's what I was kind of thinking. Like say you have this desire to be the king or whatever. You plant the seed and then I forgot what I was saying. sorry everyone. Doesn't matter. Moving on.
I don't got anything else to say. That was the last point.
Maybe that's a really good good place to end it. I like tripping down at the end. It makes me seem human, because if I didn't do it, then everyone would think I'm too brilliant.
Yeah. Charlie says that's point end done. I've paused now because I'm thinking.
Me too.
I'm thinking of like. I just don't know whether to mention about like the whole. Maybe I'll keep. I won't mention it now. Yeah, save it for later.
Brilliant. Well, that was wonderful. It was nice. I think we discussed some very interesting topics, and it has cleared up a little for me as well. It's cleared up a few things about this concept of what the personality of Godhead, as it says here, what that personality of Godhead is. Like it's giving more qualities about that, more ways to understand Krishna. You know.
Yeah.
I really like that point about unembodied. You know, like unembodied doesn't mean it doesn't have a body. Or he doesn't.
And another point. Sorry, I know we're meant to end, but in the purport to this book, well, I wasn't. Yeah, he mentions about the deity sort of thing, but also he talks about Krishna and how what Krishna's sort of pastimes, what Krishna did. You know, he did kill demons, lifted Govardhan Hill, and these things that are described in the yoga texts, generally in the Upanishads and things like that, you will find a lot of discussing of the absolute truth and gradually getting us to the point of understanding that the absolute truth is a person, but not a person like we think, like unembodied. Yeah. No material form, no material eyes, hands, legs. But but completely spiritual. So when one hears about Krishna and the all attractive, sweet pastimes that he exhibits with his loving devotees, one doesn't make the blunder of thinking, oh, this is a material person. This is Krishna's just another material historical personality. Yeah. The yoga texts are trying to get you to the point of understanding that when you hear about Krishna, these activities, the activities of the love supreme, full of Satya and under eternity, knowledge and bliss, just really just smothered in sweetness, in Madhurya. And one should, when one starts to hear about Krishna, don't make the mistake of thinking that it's tainted with the same sort of material bitter taste that all of our activities are, sort of thing.
And that's kind of what's cool about reading like books like Sri Upanishad and Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita. They sort of slowly elevate you to that level, to that point where you can understand, okay, because if you've read Krishna book, there's some really like far out like pastimes, like a little boy just slaying demons, like casually slaying demons, and it's really easy to go, oh, this can't exist, this is a myth, this is myth, this is, you know, that you can easily dismiss it. But if you systematically, because that was what we were talking about last week, in the last week's verse it said the systematic was one of the words. So if we like systematically read these, then we can come to the point where we can start to understand and enter these kinds of pastimes, these kinds of the stories about Krishna with the correct conception, and then you can really relish that, what you were saying, that madhurya, that like sweetness to everything. So it's really nice. It's lovely. So thanks for watching, everyone.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Madhashikshana Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktarina Madhashikshana Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktarina